The hot sun beat down on the dusty ground of the alien military base. It was far from Earth, in a distant part of space where humans rarely went. This was the training camp where only the strongest soldiers learned to fight. Among the cadets was Lena, a young human girl. She was strong and fast, but in this alien world she was still new and different. Lena stood in the middle of the training field. Around her were soldiers from many different planets. The sky was dark, and huge metal towers surrounded the camp. The air was tense. Everyone waited for the alien general to arrive. General Zorak was a tall, muscular alien with sharp eyes and green skin. He was proud and very strict. His voice was loud and harsh. The cadets feared him. He did not like weakness. Today was a special day. The general wanted to test the new cadets. He walked through the training field, looking at each soldier carefully. When he reached Lena, he stopped. He looked at her quietly for a moment, then laughed coldly. "You think you are strong, human," Zorak said with a sneer. "Let me show you what strength really is." Before Lena could say anything, Zorak grabbed her wrist hard. His grip was like iron. He slapped her wrist roughly, making her wince in pain. The soldiers around them gasped. "Look at her. She can't even hold her own wrist steady," Zorak said, his voice full of mockery. "Weak. Useless." Lena felt the heat rise to her cheeks. She wanted to shout back to prove him wrong, but the pain and the many eyes watching made her silent. She looked down at her wrist, feeling the sting of humiliation. Her heart beat fast. But inside her, a fire began to burn. She was not weak. The other cadets whispered among themselves. Some looked at Lena with pity, others with doubt. Lena's best friend, Milo, stood a little way off, his face tense. He wanted to help, but he knew the rules. No one could challenge the general. Zorak let go of her wrist and walked away, still laughing. "Remember this day, human. You have much to learn." Lena clenched her fists. Her wrist hurt, but her pride hurt more. She looked, her eyes fierce. "I will show you," she thought. "I will show everyone." That night, when the stars shone bright in the sky, Lena did not sleep. While others rested, she found a quiet place near the edge of the camp. She took off her jacket and looked at her wrist. The skin was red and sore, but she ignored the pain. She pulled out a small, worn book from her bag. It was an old human manual on hand-to-hand combat. Lena had found it hidden in the ship before arriving. She had read it many times. Now, she practiced the moves quietly in the dark. Her fingers moved carefully, learning new grips and locks. Her muscles ached, but she kept going. Every night she trained alone, away from the eyes of others. She did not want anyone to see her weakness. Days passed and Lena grew stronger. Her body became faster, her moves sharper. But she kept her promise to prove everyone wrong. One morning, the entire camp was called together. Soldiers stood in rows under the pale sky. The air was thick with tension. General Zorak appeared on the high platform, his eyes scanning the crowd. His voice boomed over the loudspeakers. "Cadets," he said, "the time has come to test your true strength. Soon, you will face a challenge unlike any other. Only the strongest will survive. Only the best will prove their worth." A murmur ran through the crowd. Everyone wanted to know what the challenge was. Lena's heart pounded in her chest. She listened carefully. "This challenge will push you to your limits," Zorak continued. "You will face dangers that will break the weak and lift the strong. Prepare yourselves." After the speech, Lena slipped away quietly. She needed to train harder. She needed to be ready. The challenge could mean danger, or even death. But she was no longer afraid. That night, as the camp grew silent, Lena sat alone under the stars. Her wrist was healed, but the memory of the slap still burned inside her. She clenched her fist and whispered, "I will not fail. I will be strong. I will survive." From the dark shadows near the camp, unseen eyes watched her. The challenge was coming, and so was the true test of Lena's strength. The sun rose slowly over the alien base. The sky was a dull orange, with 2 small moons still visible in the distance. The air was cool, but tension burned hotter than ever. Lena stood among the other cadets waiting for the challenge to start. Her body was ready. She had trained hard every night since the humiliation, but she knew this challenge would be different. It was not just about strength, it was about survival. General Zorak appeared again, this time with a cruel smile. "Today, you will enter the trial zone," he announced loudly. "It is a dangerous place, full of traps and enemies. Only those who survive will move on. The weak will fall." The trial zone was a huge area outside the camp. It was filled with rough terrain, sharp rocks, and strange creatures that roamed in the dark. No one had ever completed it. Lena looked at the entrance. The metal gates opened with a loud hiss. One by one, the cadets stepped inside. Some walked confidently, others hesitated, fear showing on their faces. Lena took a deep breath and stepped forward. Her heart was heavy, but her mind was clear. She thought about the general's harsh words and the pain he caused her. This was her chance to show she was not weak. As she moved deeper into the trial zone, the light grew dim. The walls of rock towered over her. Strange sounds echoed, growls and whispers that made her skin crawl. She kept her hand on her weapon, ready for anything. Suddenly, a loud roar shattered the silence. A large creature with sharp claws and glowing eyes jumped out from behind a rock. The other cadets froze in fear. Lena did not hesitate. She remembered the move she practiced in secret. With quick steps, she dodged the creature's swipe and grabbed its arm. Using a strong hold from her book, she twisted the creature's wrist and forced it to the ground. The creature growled, then fled into the shadows. The other cadets stared, surprised by her skill. "Impressive," a voice said behind her. Lena turned and saw a tall alien warrior. His armor was scratched and worn, but his eyes were kind. "I'm Zorak," he said. "You are stronger than you look." Lena smiled faintly. "I have to be." Zorak nodded. "The trial zone is more than creatures. There are traps and puzzles. We must work together if we want to survive." For the first time, Lena felt a spark of hope. Maybe she didn't have to do this alone. They moved carefully, watching every step. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shook. Rocks fell from above, and the path ahead was blocked by a deep chasm. "We need to find another way," Zorak said, scanning the walls. Lena spotted a narrow ledge high above. "We can climb," she said, "but it will be dangerous." Zorak agreed. Together they climbed slowly, the rocks loose beneath their hands. Lena's muscles burned, but she did not stop. At the top, they found an old control panel. It looked broken, but Zorak pressed some buttons. Suddenly, a hidden door opened nearby, revealing a dark tunnel. The tunnel was cold and silent. Lena's heart raced as they stepped inside. The air smelled of metal and dust. Suddenly, a sharp pain hit her. Sighed. She gasped and looked down. An alien dart had pierced her armor. "Trap!" Zorak shouted. "We have to move!" Lena pulled out the dart carefully. The pain was sharp, but she clenched her teeth and kept walking. Deeper in the tunnel, they reached a large chamber filled with strange symbols glowing faintly on the walls. In the center was a pedestal with a glowing orb. "This must be the prize," Lena said. "But why is it here?" As she stepped closer, the orb pulsed with light. Suddenly, the walls began to close in slowly. "We triggered a trap," Zorak yelled. "We must take the orb and get out fast." Lena grabbed the orb carefully. The walls moved closer by the second. Her lungs burned as she and Zorak ran back through the tunnel. Just as the walls almost crushed them, they burst out into the open air. The sun was setting, painting the sky red. Lena fell to her knees, gasping for breath. Zorak helped her up. "You did well," he said quietly. But Lena's mind was on the general's words. The trial was only beginning. She knew more dangers waited. That night, as the camp was quiet again, Lena stared at the glowing orb in her hands. It was strange and powerful. She did not know what it would do, but she was ready to find out. Her journey was far from over. The morning sun cast long shadows across the training camp. The cadets returned slowly from the trial zone, exhausted and shaken. Many had failed. Some had not returned at all. Lena sat apart, the glowing orb resting carefully beside her. Its soft light pulsed gently, almost like it was alive. Jorak approached her quietly. You held your own better than most. The general is watching you closely now. Lena nodded but didn't speak. Her mind was filled with questions about the orb and the traps they faced. Later, in the camp's command center, General Zorak stood before the gathered officers. His eyes were cold and calculating. The trial zone tests more than strength, he said. It reveals secrets, and some secrets are dangerous. He paused, then fixed his gaze on Lena. Cadet Lena, you surprised us, but this is only the start. Lena clenched her fists. She knew the general did not like being challenged. After the meeting, Lena returned to her quarters. She carefully studied the orb. Its surface shifted colors, blue, green, red, as if reacting to her presence. Suddenly, the orb flashed bright white. Lena shielded her eyes. When the light faded, a holographic image appeared above the orb. It showed an ancient star map with strange symbols and a blinking red dot. Lena's heart raced. This was not just an object. It was a message. She called Jorak over. Together they studied the map. This system, Jorak said slowly, is far, beyond known space. It is marked as forbidden territory. Why would the general send us here? Lena asked. Jorak shook his head. Maybe there is more at stake than just a test. That night, Lena could not sleep. She thought about the general's words and the hidden map. The next morning, she decided to ask the general directly. In the training hall, Lena found General Zorak alone. She stepped forward boldly. Sir, she said, what is the true purpose of the trial zone? Why did you send us there? The general's eyes narrowed. You want the truth, Cadet? Very well. He walked to a large hollow screen and activated it. Images of old battles and destroyed colonies filled the room. The trial zone is built on a site of great conflict, Zorak explained. Long ago, a powerful enemy attacked here. They sought an ancient weapon hidden beneath the surface. Lena's eyes widened. An ancient weapon? Yes, the general said grimly. The orb you carry is a key to that weapon. If it falls into the wrong hands, it could destroy entire worlds. Lena looked down at the orb in her hand. The weight of responsibility pressed on her like a heavy stone. But why send cadets into danger? She asked. Because only the strongest can protect it, Zorak replied, and only those who survive the trial can be trusted. Lena felt a mix of fear and determination. She understood now that this was not just a test of strength, it was a test of loyalty and courage. As she left the hall, a cold voice whispered behind her, Beware, Cadet. Not everyone wants you to succeed. Lena spun around but saw no one, only the empty hallway and her own pounding heart. Back in her quarters, Lena and Jorak planned their next move. They needed to find out more about the ancient weapon and protect from those who would misuse it. But dangers lurked close. Someone was watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. The trial was far from over. The colony was quiet as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the military base. But inside, tension crackled like electricity. Lena and Jorak sat huddled in the dim light of the command room. The star map from the orb still glowed softly between them. They traced the blinking red dot deep inside forbidden space. We have to find out what's really buried there, Lena said. If the general's right, that weapon could destroy everything. Jorak nodded. But how? We don't even know what enemies are waiting for us. Suddenly, the door hissed open. Sergeant Halen, one of the toughest cadets, stepped in with a grim look. You two should be careful, he said quietly. There's talk of a spy here, someone feeding information to the enemy. Lena's heart skipped a beat. A spy, among their own. We can't trust anyone, Halen continued. Not even the officers. Lena exchanged a look with Jorak. The walls seemed to close in. The enemy wasn't just outside. They were inside, too. Just then, alarms blared through the base. Red lights flashed. The colony was under attack. Lena grabbed her weapon. To the defense stations, now! Outside, dark ships cut through the sky like angry beasts. Laser fire lit up the night as the enemy struck fast and hard. Lena and Jorak fought side by side, their training pushed to the limit. But something was wrong. The enemy seemed to know every move. "Someone is helping them," Jorak shouted over the chaos. Lena's eyes scanned the battlefield. In the shadows near the command tower, she saw a figure slipping away, masked and quick. Without thinking, she chased after the stranger. The chase led through narrow corridors and dark alleys. Lena's breath came fast, her heart pounding like a drum. Finally, the stranger stopped and turned. The mask fell away. It was one of their own. Lieutenant Dran, a trusted officer. "Why?" Lena demanded, weapon raised. Dran smiled coldly. "Because some of us believe the general is hiding dangerous secrets. I work for those who want to control the weapon, for power." Before Lena could react, Dran lunged. They struggled fiercely. Lena's training took over. With a quick move, she disarmed Dran and forced him down. "We will stop you," she said firmly. "No one betrays this colony," Dran sneered. "You think you're strong, Cadet? You haven't seen real power yet." As guards arrived to take Dran away, Lena felt the weight of what lay ahead. The weapon beneath the trial zone was more than a secret. It was a key to the fate of many worlds, and enemies were closer than ever. The morning sun rose over the colony, but the air was thick with tension. Lena felt the weight of last night's betrayal. Trust was broken, and danger was closer than anyone wanted to admit. Commander Zorak called an emergency meeting. His cold eyes scanned the room as he spoke. "The trial zone holds the weapon that can change the fate of the galaxy," he said. "We must enter and secure it before the enemy does." Lena's heart pounded. The trial zone was a place few had returned from. It was a deadly, alien wilderness filled with traps, fierce creatures, and secrets that could drive anyone mad. But this mission was their only hope. Lena was chosen to lead a small team into the trial zone. As they prepared, whispers of fear and doubt spread among the cadets. "Why her?" some muttered. "She's just a human." Lena heard it all, but she kept her face steady. She would prove them wrong. The team entered the trial zone through a narrow canyon. The silence was eerie. Strange sounds echoed from the thick alien trees. Shadows moved like ghosts. Suddenly the ground shook. Huge beasts like nothing Lena had ever seen rushed toward them, snarling and growling. Lena raised her weapon. "Stand your ground!" The fight was brutal. The team worked together, but the beasts were fast and strong. One by one, they fell. Lena fought fiercely, using every skill she had learned. When the last beast was down, they reached the heart of the trial zone, a towering alien structure covered in glowing runes. "This is it," Lena whispered. As she stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind her. Alone in the dark, Lena realized the true challenge was just beginning. Inside the dark alien structure, Lena's footsteps echoed. The air was thick and cold. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, casting eerie shadows. She moved carefully, knowing danger could be anywhere. Suddenly, a deep voice spoke from the shadows. "So the human dares enter." Lena's grip tightened on her weapon. Out stepped a tall alien guardian, covered in heavy armor, eyes glowing red. "You must prove your worth," the guardian said. "Only the strongest can claim the power." Without warning, the guardian attacked. Lena dodged quickly. She realized this was not just a fight of strength, but also of mind and speed. Using her training, she found the guardian's weak points. After a fierce battle, she broke his defenses and disarmed him. The guardian knelt. "You have passed the trial. The power is yours." A bright light filled the room. Lena felt energy flow through her, a strength she had never known. She now held the secret weapon, something that could change the war. As she turned to leave, she heard voices outside. The enemy had found their way into the structure. Lena knew. She had to act fast. With new power and courage, she prepared for the final battle. Lena stepped out into the dim hallway. The enemy soldiers were closing in fast. Their heavy footsteps echoed like thunder. Her heart pounded, but she did not hesitate. The new power inside her burned bright, giving her strength and speed beyond what she thought possible. The alien general, Zorak appeared at the end of the hall, smirking. You think you can defeat me, human? You are nothing. Lena stared back, calm but fierce. You underestimated me. That was your biggest mistake. The battle began. Zorak struck with brutal force, but Lena moved faster than ever. She blocked his attacks and countered with precision. With one quick move, she snapped Zorak's wrist, just like the title said she would. The general cried out in shock and pain. The soldiers around them froze, surprised by the human's strength. Lena stood tall, breathing heavily but victorious. This is just the beginning. Humans are stronger than you think. Her fellow cadets and even some alien soldiers who had doubted her now looked at her with respect. Lena had not only proven herself, but had changed the way everyone saw humans. The war was far from over, but Lena's victory was a message. Never underestimate a human.